It's the blog segment. The blog. The blog.
Okay, so I had some clients in yesterday, and they were talking about the Perry Mason. They mentioned Perry Mason, and I had to tell them, I have that.
Did they mention me?
Yes.
If someone mentions Perry Mason, do they get a discount?
No, we can't. Debbie, no.
No discounts. So anyway, they did mention
that last
so I had to tell them that. I got to
message.
tell them about how much I love the music on Perry Mason and how we, because I am an attorney and there's a connection there. So some people connect it. So as I do, this is why I like the music so much. But anyway, I wanted to tell you. So before I talk about my blog post, I'm going to talk about this story that people who have financial problems, and I'm going to mention Chapter 13 bankruptcy because most people come to see me. They think they're the only ones having a financial problem, and I thought so it's a nice lead in there for me, Jim. Thank you.
Very professional.
So I have again, people come to see me. They think they're the only ones with these financial problems, and they're afraid, and that's why I don't get a lot. You don't get a lot of referrals for bankruptcy because they don't want to tell their friends that they had financial problems. So you don't say, my bankruptcy attorney here he is, right? Because it's a personal thing. Mm-hmm. So I tell people this story a lot because so here's what everyone, when you go to Chapter 13, you're supposed to every month you send a check to the trustee. Now, just recently they made it that you can pay over online, but that's very recent. The only way you could pay before was to send them a cashier's check or money order, or take it out of your.
I thought you can only send it through iTunes gift cards.
That's right. That's right. If your trustee wants iTunes gift cards,
you're wrong.
It's not your trustee. Yeah. Like the IRS. If the IRS asks you to pay through gift cards, that's not the IRS. So anyway, every month this client of mine went into his local bank and he got a cashier's check for his trustee payment every month, and he did this month after month. Nowadays you only have one or two cashiers, so it's the same person you see every month. Yeah. And eventually, one of the cashiers says to him, "Do you mind if I ask you a question?" And he says, "No, go ahead." She said, "Who's this guy, Tom Vaughn?" Now, Tom Vaughn is the trustee in Cook County. There's two of them, Tom Vaughn and Marilyn Marshall. She says, "Who's this guy, Tom Vaughn? Everybody's coming in here looking for checks for him. What does that guy do?" So even in this little neighborhood, it was enough that this cashier took notice and said, "What is this guy? Why is so many people coming in here?" So I'm telling you that story because you're not the only one. There's lots of people in your neighborhood who have financial problems, and they don't want to tell you. Everybody looks at everybody else and thinks
it's not shameful either.
I agree, it isn't.
Don't be ashamed of it.
I agree.
Let's fix the problem while it's right in front of you.
I don't think you have to go out and tell the whole world, but
okay, let's not get crazy here. But I mean, don't we talk about cascading
tax problem?
It's been a long week. Yeah. Cascading tax issues, and that's one of the problems that we have.
That's right.
That's what we see here is that people
can just down the road. That's right.
Just kick the can down the road.
Now, what the blog segment though I wanted to talk about is the number of people I help that aren't. We always talk about local, and that's important. But I help people who aren't only local. So I had this just last week.
They're local.
I had someone from Moline and someone from Kankakee County.
Moline.
I have clients in California. I have clients in Texas. I have clients in Memphis.
Tejas.
Yes. I don't know what that means.
It's like calling Detroit Detroit.
I see. And I have clients. I have clients in Wisconsin. That's way far over there.
Wow, that's your.
I have clients in Michigan, so I have clients that aren't local because they hear the show and they call me or they do a blog search. Or, a Google search and they come across me,
or your
and then
AVO
they watch
account. They look over on AVO.
That's right, but So if you and I do invite them coming now, these people from Kankakee, they came to my office and they sat down with me at my office. It was a long ride for them to come downtown. Same thing with Moline. But a lot of these people, what I do is I do offer a online meeting. So I have a online a webcam and you see me, we have a whiteboard, and it's just like sitting with me, but it's a little cumbersome sometimes, but it sure beats riding all the way downtown and taking an hour and a half or 2 hours to drive to Chicago. A lot of people hate coming to Chicago, and so I understand that. There's lots of traffic, and it's a kind of a pain, and then to get back home. So I do a online consultation, and again, if you don't have a camera, and most people have a camera on their computers nowadays,
if you don't?
Then I send you one, and we have one.
You send them a camera?
Yes, we send them a camera, and then we plug in, and you can see me, and I can see you, and we have a whiteboard, and we can. It really works well.
Wow!
And then if you decide to hire me, and you will. Then we can look at paperwork together, and you could sign everything online.
How many law offices do that? I have never heard of one that does that.
Well, except for me, because I've told you about it before. But okay, but anyway, I get it. Jim's looking at me. You're.
A.
I'm crashing the illusion. But anyway, but anyway, so even if you're close by and you don't want to come downtown, you could still do it. It doesn't matter where you are. Now, a lot of people want to sit down, sit down face to face with someone, and you'll get a look at my office and see what kind of operation I run, and that's important to a lot of people. But some people, they'd prefer just to do it online and save the drive downtown.
Yeah, but whatever way you prefer, might as well just take care of the problem before it gets worse, because it will get worse. It's like letting a wildfire spread. You have to contain it, otherwise it'll wipe out the forest.
That's a very good analogy. That's a very good analogy, because it does get worse, and it starts as a small problem, and and that's the cascading tax problem that you were just talking about. That it just builds and builds, and so most people come to see me. I always ask them, how's this had an effect on you? And most people, I haven't been able to sleep. I have a lot of, that's all I ever think about. It really interferes with their peace of mind.
I think I found a new song for us, "Peace of Mind" by Boston. Should be played.
I saw Boston in 1977. Just to throw that in.
That's just throwing it in there. We could talk about
1 week
later.
before I saw Led Zeppelin.
That's awesome.
Me and your dad, yeah.
That's awesome. But let's get back to the main focus. Is that, ladies and gentlemen, again, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter, where you're from, really, that you can have these issues, and most likely your neighbors are going to have these issues, or somebody has some sort of issue, and don't be ashamed of it. Take control of it, and let's fix it together. That's what Open Tax Resolution does. 312-664-6649. And who doesn't want to get a camera? Do you hear the music in the background? This is why Debbie Schreiner is the best in the business. You can also visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. That's going to be your hub to help fight the IRS. This music is getting me ready and pumped up. So listen to those the commercials during the break. Support those people.
Come back for the IRS saga.
Come back for the IRS saga, ladies and gentlemen. Have some peace of mind here on AM 560.
The answer.